Hello, I'm thrilled to be part of the Connect International Women's Day series of interviews with WBEs from across the world. My name's Amy Crookes and I'm the APAC ESG Services Leader at EY, and today I'm joined by Alison Eyring, Founder and CEO of Produgie. Alison, I might start by asking you to introduce yourself, where do you live, and just a bit about your businesses.
Super. So thanks for inviting me to be here. It's great. My name is Alison Eyring. I'm the founder and CEO of Produgie. Produgie is a B2B SaaS company that helps build organization, leader, and team capabilities that drive business growth and transformation. Produgie is a technology company that I incubated and spun out of another company that I started that is called Organisation Solutions, and it's a company I founded in 2000. And then I led it until 2021 when I spun out Produgie. I left it in the able hands of my successor, and then I went and I'm running Produgie right now.
Amazing. So what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
So when I started Organisation Solutions, I didn't actually think about being an entrepreneur. I didn't even use that word. I just wanted to run a business. And when I was an internal person in big companies, and I kept saying, I want to run a business. Let me run a business. And they were like, nah, you're an organization psychologist. You go do your thing. You don't know how to sell. You don't know how to lead a business. So I just finally said, I'm going to go do my own thing. So I'm going to start a business. And so at the time, I really had no vision other than I wanted a business. And I actually thought I wanted to start an educational game and toy company because that seemed really cool. And I talked to someone from SCORE, and he's like, do you know how tough that business is? And I said, well, I guess I'd better just do what I know. And, all I knew was how to grow and transform businesses. And it turned out to be a good idea. So that's kind of what I did. When I started Produgie, I was in a very different place. I had spent 18 years at that point serving really big companies, and we serve Organisation Solutions works with great multinationals around the world, J&J and GE and Chevron and Marriott. I mean, you name it. These are wonderful companies, and Organisation Solutions loves working with them. But what really burdened me was the fact that smaller companies really couldn't afford our services. And actually, our services were only rationed to like 2% of the population because they're very expensive and they're considered to be quite elitist. I mean, companies treat them in a very elite way. And so I said, surely there's a way that we can use data and technology that can enable more inclusive rationing of these types of services, as well as giving companies that are smaller access because we could drive the price down. And so that's what we did. And I'm super excited about that. I mean, we sell subscriptions, and they sell for $16 to $22 per user per month, which is just crazy affordable. And it means that our customers can really scale access to these premium services.
I suppose that way you're also reaching entrepreneurs like yourself or small business like yourself and opening up opportunities for them as well, whereas they might have been priced out beforehand. So then thinking through, you obviously had the two different experiences of setting up each businesses, and you've, like you mentioned, you've come at it from different perspectives in your growth as a business owner and leader. But what have been the biggest challenges for you that you've probably faced as an entrepreneur?
Well, I'd say that the challenges of Organisation Solutions were twofold. One was really just scaling the business, going from selling business by hour. I could always hire more people. So scaling that was difficult. I'd say the other thing that was very difficult for me was just the year after I started, or maybe a year or two after I started, my mom and dad were killed in a car accident. And then 2 years after that, my husband and I adopted our first child. And then 2 years after that, we adopted another baby. So that was really full on. And I think that I was as committed as I am now. But I think that was really challenging for me, was to have a young family and be mourning the loss of my parents and running a business and hiring people. And, that was really hard for me. It was hard for about 10 years. So it got a little bit easier.
Is the hardest bit to juggle, isn't it? And I suppose that's the challenge sometimes at that stage of a small business owner, is you've got to keep that business going, but sometimes your team probably is not as big as what it is now perhaps, but you've got to be all hats, right? Mum as well,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
It was
make that juggle.
definitely, it
Yeah.
was really much more challenging. And with Prodigy, you know, now my girls are in college and they still need me, but they need me in a different way, right? And so that impacts me in a very different way. Now I have much more focus on really getting this baby to grow. And my biggest challenge, honestly, it's fundraising. It's securing capital, hiring, and there's just so much to do. I think running a SaaS business is much more complex than a consulting business, because at least in a consulting business, I knew a lot, whereas in a SaaS, I don't know everything about the business. And so that's been really great for me. It's been a fun way to learn. And it's also, I've had to learn really, really fast.
Yeah, absolutely. So then, how has being part of We Connect International Network helped your business then, do you think?
So We Connect was very helpful to me in that a couple of years ago, after we had started on the development of Prodigy, and we spent a couple of years and invested about $500,000 to incubate Prodigy in Organization Solutions. And I attended a workshop that Moody's hosted. And it's funny because I was like, okay, what am I going to learn? What's this going to be like? And when I went through the workshop, it really challenged me in that I realized that I was really proud of the fact that I'd actually never borrowed money. I'd never gotten investors. I'd really bootstrapped it. And I thought that was really a self-limiting mental model for me. And so I went back to the team and I said, I think we need to accelerate. We need to spin it out. I need to use that to raise capital. It was really quite scary. But I feel like that workshop was really great. And there were a number of people that I interacted with. And in fact, I've stayed in touch with from Moody's that I think are fabulous. So I think that sometimes when have a small business, thinking of taking on investors, that's really scary. Now, if you're going to do that, you really have to have a vision of growth, because investors want growth and they want to have an exit. So that's not for everybody. You might want a business that's going to be supporting your family, and that's good. And that's fabulous, right? So you don't have to be that kind that goes and raises capital. But anyways, for me, that was very helpful to get clarity of how I was going to fund the growth of Prodigy.
No, amazing. So then you probably already do, with, I'm guessing, a strong network around you of other aspiring women. But, what advice would you give, or do you already give to other women entrepreneurs?
Well, one thing of advice I would give is just be really strategic in how you network. We only have so much time. And I think there's certain friends that we always want to be their friend, and we shouldn't be selling to our friends, right? Well, some will, but I generally like to separate those things. Then really think about what, for instance, you need a network of people around you who have skills you don't have. I think that's really important. None of us knows everything. And so we need to build those relationships. They can help us see the world in a different way. And I think we also need to build relationships that can be strategic for the business itself, and think about it in a really long-term way. To me, I find that really helpful. I used to run a CEO roundtable in my old group, and I used to observe differences between how men and women would network. And I used to laugh at it. It was like women would nest, and they'd want to become deep friends and all stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. But the guys were like shaking hands and doing deals. And so that's always been my advice to women is we can go both ways, right? We can have deep friendships and connections, and we can be strategic in terms of leveraging relationships to enable our businesses and enable our business growth.
Amazing. Look, thank you so much, Alison, for taking the time out of your business today to have this chat. I've really got to enjoy getting to know you. So thank you for your time, and talk to you soon.
Thanks. It's my pleasure.
Thank you.